Are you frustrated with the lack of enthusiasm and motivation to read by your child at home? Are you feeling like your child is not challenged enough at school? Well, let me just kind of share some things with you today. I am Shauntelle Modeste. I'm a former reading specialist and elementary classroom teacher. I've been in this game of educating children for over 20 years, and I've seen a lot over the years. And so I want to thank you for downloading and having the desire to learn a little bit more about how to help your reader today mini series. Now, I want you to know that these frustrations and concerns that you share are not only shared by you. There's what's known as the National Association of Educational Progress, NAEP, which is our nation's report card that grades our school systems. And what this report as of 2019 has shown is that there has been a drastically reading decline amongst eighth graders as well as fourth graders. So the eighth graders' scores have decreased. Our fourth graders are showing that only 35% of those students are reading at grade level. Only 35% of our American students are reading at a proficient grade level. So if you're like me, a parent who's concerned about the well-being of their child, who's excited about their child having a great longevity in their career and getting into the best schools and the best colleges, or just a child who you just know needs and deserves all the best education that they can be provided, then you are in the right place here with me today. On this mini series of how to build a stronger reader today, I want to provide you a couple of tips that will help make this possible for your reader. Just a few tips. There's many, many more, but this is a mini series. And so I wanted to give you some tips that will help you move your child in the direction of reading excellence and not in the direction of reading decline. So in this, I want to look at tip number one. So tip number one is pretty simple and pretty straightforward, and one that you've heard many, many, many times. And it's just simply reading aloud to your child. Now, I know you hear that a lot. I know you probably get newsletters home from your child's teacher that's saying, make sure you do your 30 minutes of reading aloud at home tonight. I know you do, because I was one of those teachers. I was a classroom teacher for many years, and I too sent those reading suggestions and recommendations home through the newsletter. But what I want you to consider is why doing that act of being the leader in your home for your child, why is that so important? Well, for one, the research has shown us that read aloud help improve students' vocabulary. And 70% of reading difficulties and reading comprehension is because of a lack of words, a lack of vocabulary. So when you read aloud to your child at night, and when y'all are sitting there, cuddle up or at the table or in the bed or wherever you choose to read, your child has been exposed to an additional 50% more words than they would have been exposed to through TV, through videos, through radio, or any other medium that their child listens to. So consider that. Reading aloud helps increase your child's vocabulary. They will hear and listen to 50% more words than they would have otherwise. Now, reading aloud is also important because it helps strengthen their reading scores at school. Because if they're engaging every night in reading, they're asking questions, you're creating the critical thinker that we know our students need to be, guess what? They're going to take that same enthusiasm into the classroom the next day. It's inevitable. They're going to share those things with their teachers. They're going to impress their peers at school. So reading aloud is so important. Now, I have an 11-year-old, and we read aloud every day, all day and night. And there are words that she has encountered that she'll often regurgitate to me back at a later time. And so I know the importance. I see it happening with her. And you too. I'm an educator. You're a parent. And you might be a parent educator as I am. But this is in your power to do the same thing. It's simply reading good, high quality books that advances and increases their vocabulary and comprehension level simultaneously. So I've included in this tip for this mini service, this mini series, I've included a think sheet. Because when we read aloud, I want you to be thinking about, well, how can we make that connection? How can your child truly gain something from this time of reading at home at night? So I've included a think sheet for you where your child can record their thoughts and have questions on there that can guide you, prompts that you can say to help strengthen that comprehension. Because not only are we reading to hear vocabulary words, we're also reading, which is really the ultimate goal of reading, is to comprehend. Did they understand anything that was read? So along with this tip of reading nightly with your child, I want you to download the think sheet that I provided here for you in this class to jumpstart your child's thinking and building their comprehension skills while building their vocabulary all at the same time. So thank you for joining tip number 1, which is to read aloud to your child at night. And don't forget to download that think sheet. And I will see you soon for tip number 2.